Fellas, if you find your energy tanking at around 2 p.m. in the afternoon, maybe your libido feels like it's kind of stuck in neutral, and your doctor is looking at your labs saying, like, everything looks normal, you're just fine. This show today is for you because what we're doing is we're pulling back the curtain on men's health below the belt with a surgeon who lives at the crossroads of performance, longevity, and quality of life. By the end of this conversation, you are going to know what to ask your doctor, what labs to run, how to choose the right path for you, and why the men in your circle can be the difference between settling for the life you have or living the life that you are thriving in. So take a breath, grab a notebook, and get ready to get your edge back because today's show, man, this one is fire. Dr. Justin, welcome to Dad Edge, man. It's good to have you here. How you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you bet, man. Men's health, especially in this arena, anything that is below our belt, that affects us. It definitely has our attention. But I want to give guys just a lay of the land of how did you even get into? I mean, I worked with surgeons and doctors for 20 plus years. I'm always so curious. What actually got you into the specialty of urology?
Yeah, so interesting question because it's not the sexiest field in medicine, let alone surgery. But my father, he was a urologist. In med school, I thought I was going to be an orthopedic surgeon, literally until the very end when we had to make a decision on what specialty to choose. I had an opportunity to do a rotation in urology, and it fit my personality. It's not a life and death type field. We do a lot of quality of life things, and then within that, I subspecialized in men's health, male fertility, men's sexual health, men's hormonal health, which is very cool and very up and coming.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I've had other experts on the show before talk about just men's health in general, but like testosterone, all that, and I definitely want to get to that. I'd love to actually talk about root causes of why we're actually seeing such low testosterone nowadays, and what your thoughts are around that. And I know we're going to be talking about treatments, but I also want to give guys just a lay of the land of just you personally. So you just got married.
I did
Yeah.
2 months ago, 3 months ago now. Yeah. Yeah, going to the honeymoon later this week, actually.
Where are you guys going?
We're going to Bali,
Bali. Oh my gosh, man.
Singapore and Bali. Yeah.
Oh, it sounds amazing, man. How long you guys been together?
Long story, but we initially dated 8 years ago, and then we reconnected earlier last year. So about a year and a half ago, we were able to reconnect, and here we are now.
No way. So you used to date her and then you went your separate ways and
Yeah, we went our separate ways for 7 years.
no way.
Yeah, and then we reconnected randomly. My car had a recall on it, her car had a recall, and then here we are now.
Are you
Yeah.
so did you guys recognize Tell me the story. Like how did y'all
Yeah,
meet
for
each
sure.
other?
I
You recognize
recognized
each
her.
other?
Yeah,
What happened?
definitely. Definitely. It was early in the morning. I showed up at the repair shop, and the only other person there was her. And ever since then, obviously we spoke, and then ever since then, we after that we started dating, and then got engaged, got married, and then yeah, like I said, here we are now.
Did you ever think like back then, like, 7 years ago, she could be the one and maybe she was the one that got away
Oh,
or
for
was it
sure. She was
okay?
always the one that got away. I was just young at the time. I was a resident. I was young. Um, yeah, yeah. She was always the one that got away. So I got very, very lucky. I really mean that.
Oh my gosh, you really, really did, man. Like
I got super lucky.
that's like a Cinderella story right there.
Yeah, counting my blessings.
How did you know that she was the one?
I mean, number of things. Just in simple terms, our value systems align, and she's got an incredible heart. Just a good, good person. I feel like it's a hard thing to find these days, but she's just a good person. Yeah, she's got a great, great heart. Puts others in front of herself all the time, and for me, that works out, and I love it. So
Well,
I've
man,
yeah, no complaints.
I think I'm gonna go out and buy a lottery ticket today because, like, we just don't hear dudes don't get second chances like this. This is awesome, man.
No,
This
no.
is makes the show even
Trust
better.
me, I'm very aware of that. I'm very aware of how lucky I got.
That is so cool, man. Um, so when did you realize though? So going back to just your practice and entering in the space of urology, when did you know that you're like, I want to do more in this field, and more being is like what you treat even today?
Yeah, so the thing is, men, as we all know, men don't really engage in the healthcare system. They're not the ones. You don't know when you have high blood pressure. You don't know when you have diabetes. When you have high cholesterol levels. These are the chronic things that could really shorten our lifespan. But what I found was when I was a resident in the middle of residency, when I was trying to figure out what to do a fellowship in, I was realizing that like men, as urologists, even though we're a surgical specialty, we're the first touch point for men in engaging in the healthcare system because like I said, they don't know when they have any of those conditions, but they know when they can't have an erection and they know when they're waking up at nighttime to urinate. So a lot of times, coming in at the age of 50, 60 was the first time a guy was seeing a doctor, and that doctor was a urologist, was us. And at the time, men's health, it's this idea of male reproductive health, men's sexual health, hormonal health was a very much up and coming field, up and coming subspecialty within urology, where we were able to touch, access men earlier on. And my generation of men are a little bit more proactive than prior generations. They're more proactive in their health, engaging in health, whether it's with supplements, nowadays peptides, but they're just proactive about their health. So to me, it was a great opportunity in order to touch, get men into the healthcare system much earlier, talk to them about the things that are bothering them in their 20s and 30s rather than their 50s and 60s. And by doing so, ultimately really help them not just live longer lives, but optimize their lives earlier on and then continue throughout each decade of life. So it was a very unique opportunity to really enhance male quality of life.
So when men come in to see you, usually what are the chief, 2 to 5 complaints that you can pretty much bank on that a guy's going to talk about?
I'd say so. For one, sexual health issues, whether it's low libido, inability to get erections, those types of things. Secondly, just not feeling the way they used to. It's like low testosterone type symptoms. They're fatigued. Energy's running out towards the end of the day. They just don't feel as well as they did 5, 10 years ago. And then urinary issues. Urinary issues are a big one. Weak stream, waking up at night, limiting their ability to sleep, they're not able to get continuous sleep as a result of that. So those are probably the top 3 issues: sexual health, like erectile dysfunction, low testosterone, and then again urinary issues.
Okay, yeah, that will definitely bring a man into a doctor, right? And I think you're right. I think we're seeing this generation of men who are way more proactive. I think the dads that probably you and I mean, granted, your dad was a surgeon, but I think our dads, like, they kind of had the belief of, I only go to the doctor if something's broken or if I'm on, knocking on death's doorstep, like, but not even being sick, like, those guys wouldn't go to the doctor. But yeah, more men are really coming to the table. They're being really more proactive with their blood work and things that are on the rise. But, what we're seeing, I think, with men who are raising their hand and wanting some earlier information or maybe even earlier intervention. I've had experts come on the show and they've pointed to different things that have impacted men's health overall, like basically like our testosterone. And I would love to hear from you. Like, what do you think are the biggest culprits out there that are a part of everyday life for guys, but we have no idea that it's impacting our health degeneratively for our hormones and just for overall men's health?
Yeah, it's a lot of it's lifestyle. I mean, it's a great question, right? Because we could all address this, but a lot of it's lifestyle, and lifestyle is probably it's a very big bucket. But within that, I'd say it's our we're not as active as we used to be because everything is so easy to get, right? Right? In terms of everything's with a phone, we're able to get access to anything and everything, whether it's our groceries, food, entertainment in front of a TV screen, entertainment in front of our phone. So we're not moving around the way we used to, and with that, activity is a big part of hormonal health, overall health, exercise, all of those things. So that's a big portion of it. We're just not moving with the way we used to. In addition to that, we're not getting out as much as we used to. So vitamin D is being significantly decreased as a result of that. There's a huge correlation between vitamin D levels and healthy hormone levels, healthy testosterone levels. So we're not doing that. And then in addition to, furthermore, in that lifestyle bucket, it's the foods that we're eating. Things are a lot more processed these days. We're not getting access to healthy, unprocessed fruits, vegetables, healthy meats, complex carbohydrates, lean proteins, those types of things. That's like the staple of healthy living. Again, healthy hormone levels. But it's a lot more processed food. As a result of that, it's really, and it's not like hormonal health is very different than cardiovascular health or anything like that. You fix them, you fix one of them, you'll fix all of them, but they all fall within that same bucket. So I think that lifestyle component's quite big. In addition to that, there's a lot of other like endocrine disruptors, I'd say, that are out there. I know there's a lot of stuff on social media talking about endocrine disruptors. Some I believe, some I don't. We don't have enough data to say, hey, listen, like this is bad for you. Like receipts, for example. I know people talk about receipts, but you probably have to touch hundreds of receipts every day for it to actually negatively impact your hormone levels. But there's perfumes, there's various things around us, microplastics that we're still learning about that could also be negatively impacting hormonal health.
Is it also true that they have lowered the range for healthy testosterone for a man? Because if my memory serves me right, didn't the max used to be 1250,
Yeah,
and
so
they
it depends.
lowered it?
It depends on which governing body. So I know like the endocrinologists have a different range than we do as urologists. Some say the low end is 300, others say the low end is 350. So that range, and we could talk more about that, but the range it's also quite unfair because, like for example, uh, we say anywhere from 350 to 1100 is the normal range. But if it's very unfair to say if you're 351, you have normal testosterone levels. If you're 349, oh, that's considered low, therefore we'll treat. It's just a number, right? And it's important to consider, but it's the symptoms that are the most important thing. You want to talk about the symptoms, not so much the number.
And what usually are the symptoms? I mean, we went over some of them, like the at night urinating, waking up in the middle of the night, you know, like not the strongest stream of urination, low libido, low energy, those types of things. I mean, are those the symptoms we should be looking for?
Yeah, the big ones, really the big ones I'd say are like any sexual health. So when it comes to erectile dysfunction or libido, that's usually the main reason why guys come in. Fatigue, really an inability to lose that weight that you used to before. So if you're exercising a lot, and like, you know what, like this belly fat, I just can't get rid of it. Um, mood and depression, even like anxiety and depression, there's a correlation between low testosterone and those types of mental health issues, if you will. Sleep disturbances. Some guys, when we normalize their hormone levels, are like, geez, I'm finally sleeping 7, 8 hours a night. I never was doing that before. So that's a big one as well. Um, and then it's really, I would say the two big things are sexual function and then energy levels. If guys are like I come home from work, and I feel like I have to take a nap. I've never had to do this. So, and the thing is, no one really, again, it's, you have these symptoms, but you don't really think it's low testosterone. So part of what I like to do is, really just say, hey, listen, if you feel that way, it's so easy to just do a blood test to see what your testosterone levels are at, because we can easily fix that.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think it's also like another culprit in a man's life is the men who are speaking into that man's life?
What do
And
you mean?
so like for instance, if like I've been doing this work now for 10 years. I'm a really big proponent and a believer in, your network is your vantage point, right? Your network is what you leverage, and it's the strong men that call you forward, that know your standards and even have higher standards for you. So like if we're surrounded by men who are ailing the same things, let's just say, and that what they're saying to each other is like, well, dude, you're 45. What do you expect? Come on, man. Like, you're going to feel like crap. And the dad bod, like, just embrace it, man. You got a belly. So what? Who cares? And you're not having sex with your wife. It doesn't matter. You're not going to have sex with your wife after 15 years of marriage. Come on. That's not going to happen. And yeah, we all wake up in the middle of the night to piss. Come on, man. Get over it. You don't need to see anybody. So do you find that a man's circle and a network is going to probably determine whether or not that guy will take action?
Without question, absolutely. Even, I mean, I've had it where I'll tell a guy, hey, listen, you have low T. He's done all the workup to get to the point, and then I recommend a treatment for him, and then 2 weeks later he'll send me an email or a call. I'd be like, well, listen, I talked to my friends and they said they're all experiencing this as well, and it doesn't sound too abnormal. I don't want to proceed with any treatment. And yeah, you're a product of your five closest friends, right? So you listen to the people around you. Yeah, so a lot of guys, they get to almost the finish line, but they're unwilling to finish it off.
I've seen that in our what we do too. I mean, we do group coaching, and we help men, and we help men with marriage, get out of the roommate scenario with their wives, and lead their kids better, lead themselves better. We do all kinds of things in there. And I find that exact same thing is that when men are surrounded by the men that you're talking about, it becomes normalized that their life feels unfulfilling, right? To some degree, they don't have the marriage that they want. Their dudes are telling them, well, dude, what do you expect? You've been married for a decade. Come on. They're not leading their kids well. So what, man? They're pains in the butt anyway. Like just raise them and provide for them, do your thing. once men are around other men who lift them up, right? Who call them forward. What I find is like, no, 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 man. We're not settling for you feeling mediocre. We're not settling for you feeling tired and exhausted. And by the way, we're not settling for you not having a sex life. So go get the treatment and go get to feeling better immediately. Like when dudes have guys like that in their corner, what I've seen, I'm sure you have too, is like, yep, I'm doing that.
Yeah, and God bless you, man, because you appreciate that. That's fantastic advice to give. Because in where we are in medicine today, we have options, good, healthy options, safe options that could really change your life and move that needle significantly into the right direction. Yeah, well said.
Yeah, and I really want to talk about this treatment. Is it okay if we really kind of hone in on the low T aspect?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I I'll just be very honest. I've never taken TRT. Kind of truth be told, like I don't know if I'm abnormal or what, but like I went to my doctor, I got my testosterone checked. This was like a year ago, and it was 985. And my doctor is kind of like this older, crotchety, like he needs to retire. He's very crabby. Bedside manner is very not good. And he's like, we have a serious problem here. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, your testosterone is 985. And I'm like, it sounds normal. He goes, it's way too high for your age. And I'm like, what? I was like, what do you mean it's way too high for my age? So anyway, he sent me to a CT scan to make sure I had no tumors that were on my adrenals or on my balls or anything like that. I'm like, are you serious? We really have to do this? He's like, yeah, it could be a tumor. And but it came back normal. And he's like, well, I guess you just have high testosterone. But I felt great. But I actually experienced the other side of this where I had a normal range of testosterone and my doctor's telling me that it's abnormal. So I don't know much about TRT. I've never taken it, but my question to you is a guy comes in with, let's just say 250, right? TRT. How do you know, where to start each patient on a treatment regimen? And then how do you get I guess the biofeedback of whether or not it's working? And even if you see that like, oh, well, his range went from 250 to 650, but he still doesn't really feel great. Are you still trying to find maybe his sweet spot? How does that work?
If there's one thing to take away from this, it's the idea of optimizing testosterone is very easy from our standpoint, but the main question you have to answer, or the main question we have to ask you is, are you interested in fertility or not? Right? That's the main question. Because if you're interested in fertility, starting testosterone replacement therapy, whether it's the gels, the injections, the pellets, what have you, even the oral pills, doesn't matter, it could stunt your fertility, or really like it basically can make your sperm counts go to almost zero, right? If not zero. Short term, right? Because think about it, like we're giving your body what the testicles are supposed to do. Testicles produce testosterone and produce sperm. But if you're giving your body exogenous testosterone, like synthetic testosterone from the outside world, those testicles is like, well, there's not much for me to do here. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm gonna go dormant, and it's not irreversible, right? We're able to reverse it. It takes time. So the main question is, like, if you're 25, you're interested in having kids, I don't know, 5 years from now, my recommendation is not testosterone replacement therapy. There's a whole different bucket of things that we can do to basically tell your testicles to produce more testosterone naturally, right? There's
Okay.
medications we can give that can do that to optimize your hormones naturally. If you're after that fertility age where, I'm 56 years old, I've already had a vasectomy, no interest in having kids, then we talk about testosterone replacement therapy. So those are is fertility important? If yes, there's one bucket. If no, there's a whole different way in which we treat this. So
Got it.
that's,
Okay.
yeah. So that's the big thing. Then within testosterone replacement therapy, and there's been a lot of great advances within this space nowadays. Historically, there were the injections, which probably still the mainstay. A lot of different injections that we do for it. And there's pellets that we use. There's a great oral testosterone nowadays out there that really really works great in terms of optimizing the testosterone levels throughout the course of the day. You take it a couple times. You take it twice a day. But there's so many options out there now for testosterone replacement therapy that, to your question of if you get to 600 but you don't feel the benefits, there's other ways that we could, let's say it doesn't work for you in one way, we could always figure out a different form of TRT to further optimize you.
Got it. Okay. And by the way, just I lost video from you. There we go.
Sorry about that.
I just want to make sure. So no worries because it'll be video too, but I'll make an edit right there. Um Just out of curiosity, what are the medications that will improve hormones? I guess I'm not familiar with those. Or are we just talking about peptides?
No, I wouldn't necessarily call them peptides, but well, I guess you could. One of them falls in that bucket, but one of them is called Clomid,
Sure, yeah.
yeah, clomiphene, or a different isomer of it called N-clomiphene. That basically tells the pituitary gland in your brain, which is a small gland, to secrete this particular type of hormone that tells your testicles produce more, right? Get more testosterone, or produce more testosterone. So that kind of rewires or resets the system. Then the other one is called HCG, or a human chorionic gonadotropin. That one, similarly, it's even more specific for the testicle. That basically tells it again, produce more testosterone. Those are the two mainstays, the two more common versions of these treatment options.
Do men? It's because wasn't Clomid originally for females? Back,
Yeah,
my wife was on it. Like, I mean, I'm talking like in college, like in the late '90s. I remember they put her on that because she had endometriosis real bad.
yeah, great memory. Yeah, that is exactly right. So we actually use it off-label in men. It's a female fertility drug. It's made as a female fertility drug. But listen, we're similar creatures. Our hormones um, still function in a similar way. So we use it off-label in men for hypogonadism or low testosterone, and it works. It works for, I'd say, 90 to 95% of men. It works great. For those 5 to 10% it doesn't, we could use HCG or even N-clomiphene for them, which is a different isomer of it all.
Very good, and men respond pretty well to that. Sounds like.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing, at least the way I like to do it, is I'll put these guys on it for anywhere from, let's say, 3 to 9 months. We put them on it, and the beautiful thing is, usually after 6 to 9 months, we take them off of it, and the whole system has reset. We get their testosterone levels back into their normal range, whether it's a 600, 700, 800, whatever it is. Then the thing I like to tell them is, and this comes back to curing, is their way of curing this is, get them back into doing the things that are important for normal hormonal health: eating right, exercising, like specifically heavy weightlifting, cardio on a weekly basis, getting the necessary sleep, right? Getting that 7 hours of sleep, and trying to reduce their stress levels. If they're able to do those four things at that level, they're able to maintain healthy testosterone levels, and then we take them off these medications.
Yeah, as you talk about these things, I see them working synergistically, or almost like as you, if you were to say, is it the chicken or the egg, and which domino will fall first? But like, even as you say that, like, I mean, story I'm telling myself, if you can even get a guy's sleep in order, right, that will lower cortisol, correct? It will also improve cognitive function. It'll improve testosterone. He'll feel more rested. He'll probably feel less stress. Like even just probably that first domino of getting that man's sleep in order will probably help tremendously. Yes.
Oh, without question.
Yeah.
Well said. I mean, it's so hard to do, right? I wish I could tell you how to fix your sleep. I haven't fixed my own sleep. But if you're getting good, healthy sleep consistently, at least 7 hours a night, maybe eight, if you're able to do that, amazing. Amazing for your mental health, your physical health, your mood, your hormone levels, everything.
Oh, I love that, man. I do want to get a little bit deeper with you on one topic that just so the audience really understands, like, so, because I think there's a lot of people out there that might reach out to you. They might want some blood work done. They might want a consultation. But talk to me about, I think the traditional way of getting testosterone checked. So if I go to my doctor, like he'll test my total testosterone, but he won't test my free testosterone unless I ask. So like I know that there's probably a misconception out there between like, well, hey, my total testosterone is great, but someone's free testosterone could be really compromised, and that could also be a culprit, correct?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So can
So
you talk about the differences with those?
yeah, so a great point. It really is your free testosterone or your bioavailable testosterone. So testosterone kind of lives in two forms in the body. There's the total testosterone, that's just a measure of the amount of testosterone in your bloodstream. Now, how much of that is free and able to be taken up by the cells of your body, by the muscles of your body? That is your free testosterone. And there's some people who have a very high total testosterone, maybe like 8, 900, but because they have so much of this one particular kind of protein that binds it, their free testosterone is quite low, and they're symptomatic, right? they're symptomatic in terms of they have that fatigue, sexual dysfunction, erectile dysfunctions, all the symptoms associated with low testosterone. But when you look at their total, it looks normal. So you do have to get a free testosterone as well as the protein, sex hormone binding globulin. You want to measure that protein. Um, that's the key thing. But this kind of brings it to a bigger point here. Is historically, I think a lot of older physicians, if you will, the idea of testosterone replacement therapy is a very controversial topic. Historically, like in the 90s, there was a study that came out that said it causes cardiovascular events, strokes, heart attacks. It causes prostate cancer, these bevy of negative symptoms. And then since then, there's been a black box warning on testosterone, which is obviously not right because they've published maybe 25 studies since then disproving the original study, and they looked at that original study and found out that there was a lot of variables in there that shouldn't have been there. It was basically very poorly done. They still won't take that study off. They still won't redact that study and unpublish it. But since then, we've tried to disprove it. And now we know that testosterone replacement therapy is incredibly safe when done under the watchful eye of someone who knows what they're doing, a physician who knows what they're doing. It decreases the risk of heart attack. It decreases the risk of stroke. It doesn't cause prostate cancer. And to me, the most important thing, like they've done 20, 30-year long studies. If you compare a guy with normal testosterone versus a guy with low testosterone, this guy with low testosterone, he's, again, increased risk of heart attack, increased risk of stroke, and he dies younger. His mortality rate it's earlier in life. He has increased mortality rate because, again, he doesn't have the energy to do those things that are important to overall health.
I was gonna say, and he along the journey, along the way, he feels probably terrible.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's not a fun life. It's not a
yeah.
yeah, you don't feel as good as you should. It's very safe.
So when you say that, under the care of a doctor, I don't know the answer to this question either, but I'd love to know how you treat patients and the care that you give. But what do you believe is the ideal cadence for, let's just take so let's just say I was your patient, I come in with 300 testosterone, all the symptoms you're talking about, I'm feeling them. How would you work with me, and like how often would we meet? How often would I be doing blood work? How often do you review that with me? How do we tweak things along the way?
Yeah, so I'm quite particular the way I do it, but generally, if you have low testosterone, we'll ask these questions about fertility, any interest there. Depending on what the answer is there, we'll provide a treatment regimen, recheck blood work anywhere 2 to 3 months just to make sure you're responding well and you're feeling well, right? Because it does take some time to feel the impact of the treatment, and then once we get into the normal rhythm of things where your testosterone levels aren't too high, number one, your estrogen levels, we always have to check your estrogen levels. We want to make sure those levels aren't too high either. But we'll start checking blood work a couple times a year, whether it's twice a year, 3 times a year. We want to make sure that the PSA doesn't go up, which is a marker which measures prostate cancer, or a marker for prostate cancer. And then we want to make sure your red blood cell count doesn't go up. So all these different measures. But generally speaking, once we get into the normal cadence of things, we check blood work 2 to 3 times a year.
And what do men so like if I was your patient, we work together, like let's just say in the first 3 months, right? I start the treatment, and let's just say I'm not interested obviously in the fertility because of my age. But what are some things that you've noticed in patients that they start to tell you once they start treatment in those first few months?
Yeah, a big one is just the way they wake up. They feel like they wake up with more energy. It's, as much as they were dragging their feet for the first, couple hours of the morning, they wake up ready to go. They feel like they're not drinking as much coffee. They don't need as much coffee. They don't need any more, less stimulants to get the day started. Their sexual performance, they feel like they have more libido. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that their erections are significantly improved. It moves the needle a little bit, but it's more so their sexual drive is higher. They feel reinvigorated in that sense. And then the third thing is just like their afternoon energy levels. So they're more likely to socialize. They're more likely to go to the gym after work. They're not taking that afternoon nap, and as a result of that, it's all because they have more energy throughout the course of the afternoon. So those are probably the three main things.
That's awesome, man. And then, talk to me about like more long term. So like the, patients you see, like, you're at the 1 year anniversary of treatment. Like what maybe even like physically like differences are you even seeing in them?
Great question. So, a couple things I'd say. The ones that who they come in a little bit overweight, they have some metabolic dysfunction. The ones who really take this on them, where they're like, all right, now I have the energy, I'm going to start working out. They come in having lost a significant amount of weight without any GLP-1s. Okay. Number one.
And is that like the semaglutide, and is that those?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, got
They're
it.
not using those. They're not. I mean, they'll do it just naturally with exercise. Even I've even seen a lot of these guys who really take it upon themselves. Their metabolic markers have improved. So let's say they had diabetes or they were pre-diabetic. Their A1C, their blood sugar counts will come down. Lower cholesterol levels. Some of them even their blood pressure responds in a better way. They're just overall more healthy because again they have the energy to exercise more. They see the benefits from the exercise in their body, then they're like, you know what, I'm gonna start eating better. They improve their diet further. It's like this, one thing leads to another, then they see their body change even more. Then they add on a different goal. They start to sleep better. With that, then they start to try to reduce their stress level. So it could be this beautiful cascade of one thing leading to another. To really, it starts off the process to again overall better health.
The story I'm telling myself is like there are some dudes in your practice that have probably like just given you a big hug and just been like, dude, thank you so much. You have no idea what you've given me. Yeah.
Oh, without question. I mean, to the point where like I look at some of these guys, I'm like, oh man, I cannot wait till I'm 55 and I need testosterone. It's like I look at it where I'm like, I cannot wait. Seriously, like I see some of like some of these changes, I'm like, wow, man, like this is like you're selling this to me, and I'm the one that prescribed it.
Right. Right. Dude, that's good, man. You're doing some really, really great work. Just as we wrap up today, what do you want men to know that you think that most men just are completely unaware of? Like, so, thinking back to some of the guys who, come into your office and they're talking about things and you're like, you're just thinking to yourself, you're like, man, if more guys just knew this, just maybe these one or two things, it would really change things for them.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'd say is I think there's a lot of we there's a lot of stigma and taboo associated with testosterone. I think in two ways. Number one, it's a taboo subject to even engage with your doctor about these subjects. Whether if you're having low T, sexual performance issues, erectile dysfunction, all these things, like that's okay. Everyone experiences it. Take it from me. These guys come into my office. The lights on in my office, the lights in my office wouldn't be on if guys weren't experiencing this issue, right? This happens on a daily basis. Guys come in with this issue, so you're not alone if you're experiencing those issues. Um, so engage earlier on with your doctor to discuss it. But then secondly, because of the stigmas, even from a physician standpoint, there's a lot of doctors who, because of the history of testosterone replacement therapy, there's we don't have the not everyone has the latest up to date information on it. And with that, there's a lot of doctors who will tell you you don't need testosterone replacement therapy, which in some situations may be correct. But you want to go to somebody, if you are going to engage, go to somebody who knows, who's an andrologist, a men's health urologist, um, even an endocrinologist, someone who knows what they're talking about when it comes to testosterone, because we can optimize your testosterone levels very safely and very correctly to make you feel better. There's so many good options out there now. I can't tell you one guy who we haven't been able to correct it safely and made him feel better as a result of it. So those are probably the two things I'd say.
I love that, man. I want to make sure that the men can find you. What is the best way for them to connect with you?
Yeah, so my name is Justin Houman. You can look me up, Justin Houman, MD, Houman. I'm at Tower Urology at Cedar Sinai. We're here based in Los Angeles. You can reach out on any of the social media platforms. Call my office. Happy to help you in any way.
And do you help? Do people have to live locally? I'm thinking they
No, no, no. We
probably
do.
help people virtually.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
nationwide. We do telemedicine. Absolutely.
that's awesome. That is awesome. Okay. Well, guys, we're gonna have all the links in the show notes for you. And my link for you today is a little it's a little I guess near and dear to my heart because we are now one show away from 1,400 episodes. If you guys go to thedadedge.com/1399 for this show, we will have all of Dr. Justin's information in there so you guys can pick it up so you can contact him directly and get to feeling better. And Justin, just as we head out today, I would love for you, you've been in practice for years. You've had a lot of men walk through your door. You've heard a lot of stories. You've heard a lot of stories of success and failure and marriage and relationships and everything else. What has been one, I would say, gleaming lesson that you've just learned about life just through your practice that you can maybe share with us?
Um, I'd say, yeah, I'd say something that's near and dear towards my heart is, look, I'm very much into this optimizing life and longevity and biohacking, all those things. And I'm no different than anybody else in terms of these supplements and whatnot. But one thing I've realized is I see a lot of older guys who in their 80s, 90s, even their hundreds, they're thriving. And I would say I always ask them what are the things that they do, and it comes for me. I've noticed four common denominators. Um, they all regularly exercise. They, even after retirement, they keep their minds occupied. They eat somewhat of a healthy diet. It's not even like an amazing, amazing diet, but they eat somewhat of a healthy diet. And the most important thing is these guys have all figured out how to reduce their stress levels. Some of them, it's drinking a half a bottle of wine every night with their wife. Some of it's hiking every day. But and this is the hardest thing. It's figuring out what reduces your stress levels and then taking that to the max. Identifying early on in life what helps you calm down and utilizing that throughout the course of your life to minimize your stress, because that's the one thing that's the most important thing of these four, that these guys have really figured out in order to live long, healthy, happy lives.
I love that. We all need less stress in our lives as guys because we carry a lot of it, man. But gentlemen, that is a wrap. That is amazing. I appreciate Dr. Justin coming on. Like I said, head on over to thedadedge.com/1399. We'll have all of Justin's links in there for you if you want to contact him directly. Obviously, he helps anyone across the nation who needs help. So we'll have that there for you. But Dr. Justin, thank you for coming on today and sharing your wisdom with us.